This is my leather sewing vlog. I've got a custom saddle in the works here. I've got all my parts prepped and ready to be sewn on the harness stitcher, and I'll give you a close-up view of the parts that I've got prepared. I've got everything scratched with my C.S. Osborne scratch compass. I've got the groove in there and everything's marked. I'll tell you a little bit about the parts I'll be sewing. The first thing is a hoof pick holder. This will be attached to the flank straps of the saddle, and it will be machine stitched on the outer edge right here, and it will be held on to the flank straps with copper number 9 rivets. The center of the this is the snap and buckle part for a breast collar. I've got it grooved right here where I'll sew it, and then I'll tuck the loop after I edge the pieces. I've got the flank cinch for the custom-made cow horse saddle, and I've lined it with burgundy latigo. The reason I line my flank straps and my flank cinch with latigo is this particular leather will really take the sweat of an animal and not deteriorate so quickly. So that's one reason I use the burgundy latigo for the lining. I've got the flank straps tool prepped, and they're scratched also, and they're lined with burgundy latigo. Also, the center of the breast collar that will be attached to the breast collar, it's lined with burgundy latigo. The breast collar itself is about 15 inches from there to there, and it's 1.25 inches in width. It has stainless steel hardware on it, and it's got this overlap right there with a filler that brings that up to the right thickness. This is a fairly thick piece. I've sewn thicker, but that'll be a nice breast collar. I've got the off billet. On this one I tooled it with an old stamp I've got, and it's prepped, ready, and lined with burgundy latigo, and I've got it grooved. The fenders that go on this saddle are going to be sewn at the top, and then a little bit later on I'll put 2 copper number 9 rivets there to secure that. We'll have Blevins quick change buckles on the bottom, and the stitching right here is about 3.5 to 4 inches. I've got a 1.25 inch stainless steel D set in the skirt there for the breast collar. I've got double row stitching. I do not have the wool skin in it yet. I'm going to put my initial stitch around the edge here. I've got 2 grooves cut, and the purpose of this inner stitch is to give the skirt fillers a little added stability there. Once I sew the inside stitch, I'll come in and glue my wool skin in and then stitch it on. So that gives you a little insight of the parts that I've got prepped for my custom-made cow horse saddle over there. I'll give you a shot of the sewing machine also that I'll be using. The thread I use most all of the time is white polyester 346 thread, and I've got this set up with a 200 Smith's needle in it right now. For thick, real stiff leather, a lot of times I'll sew with a 230, size 230 needle. This is my harness stitcher. Been using this for a number of years. I'm quite satisfied with it. It works good for me. I keep my different colored threads back here, but like I say, most of the time I use the white polyester 346. On occasion I have used a 207 with a 180 needle for 4 to 5 ounce leather. While I'm over here in the corner here, you may not know that saddle making has run in my family for quite a while. And this is my great-grandfather, Charles D. Cheaney. He had a saddle and harness shop here in Gainesville, Texas in the late 1800s, and he passed away in 1906. So this picture right here was taken before 1906. So thought I'd kind of tell you about that. A lot of times I don't use a light. I've got a light right here on this machine. Seems to bother me a little bit unless I'm really having trouble seeing something, and then that's when I'll use the light. One other thing I'd like to mention is a lot of times while I'm sewing, I'll have a fresh bobbin winding. This thread comes down and feeds the bobbin winder, and this is just the way I do it. This spool is empty and it's ready to be wound. And then I've got a fresh bobbin in the machine right here. The first piece I'm going to sew is the hoof pick holder. It will just be stitched from there to there. I'll start here, back up about 3 stitches, and then come down, maybe back up 2 or 3 stitches. This machine has a servo motor on it, which is really pretty quiet most of the time. I've got a lever over here that controls the, well, actually you can adjust the stitch length, and the foot pedal regulates the speed at which I sew. So I backed up 3 stitches, and then I sewed right over the 3, right back in the right same hole. I have an open toe on this machine where I can see my stitch groove, which really helps. Be very careful and back up in the same stitch holes, and that will lock that stitch in there where it should never come undone. I'll pull a piece out, and what I do is pull the loop right in the center. There'll be a loop either on the front or usually on the back. Pull that loop in the center and it locks it in there. I like to start off with the easy piece just to get the feel of the machine early in the morning, and kind of set the pace of sewing my other parts. And I can adjust the stitches if need be. It looks like maybe on the thicker things I may let my stitch out just a fraction. Okay, this is the center of the breast collar piece for the saddle, and I'll start right at the tip, set my needle down and pull my string back, set the foot down, find my starting place right there. I'll hold my string as I start. Make sure it's in the pressure foot, and I'll take off. pull my string right in the center, my thread. Now I'll come back and trim the excess bottom off, even with the sides here, and then edge the back.